welcome to the WIU football pregame show. I'm your host, Brendan Ree, alongside my partners, Tommy Cook and Mackenzie Yearby. We got a great one here as Western Illinois is set to take on the legendary program of Youngstown State. And it's homecoming week, and we'll get to that later. Lots to talk about, obviously, with you, Mackenzie. But tons of storylines this week involving Western Illinois football, and it all starts with Justin Fitzpatrick.
Yes, so Justin Fitzpatrick, during his bye week, he went to Kansas City, and he received the Christopher Pillar Award for his short film that he did about the junior Sam Pryor. She's a basketball player. So the story really started off as her just picking a number, why she wanted number 34. Her mom played basketball. And so throughout the short film, he just talks about how Sam evolved as a player and how she grew closer to her mom. Her mom sadly passed away from cancer, but film was just great because it was able to honor her.
Yeah, I agree, Mackenzie. And I mean, you talk about Justin Fitzpatrick. Not only is he a dynamic athlete, two-sport athlete here at Western Illinois,
He is.
captain on the football team and starting position player on baseball, but now he's out here winning Emmys. So, I mean, he can do it all. The true
Yes.
utility player of Western Illinois University.
And this also just started as an extra credit project. So he took it so serious, and he ended up winning an award. So I think that's something that's great about him.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, can do it all and just a great, true person in general. So we have him this week. We found out last weekend that he won the Emmy. And now last week, we had a few players take home Missouri Valley Conference awards.
Yeah, you talk about excellence off the field, excellence on the field for Western's first win of their season last week, and it all started with John Brunner on the second play of the game, 71-yard touchdown on the second play. Great start for him. So he was the Missouri Valley Football Conference newcomer of the week, and very deservedly at that. And talking about a team, that was deprived of their tools on offense and who was going to step up. Was it going to be Tony Tate? Was it going to be Steve McShane? John Brunner showed up. And then where was Steve McShane? Well, he decided to show up in the fourth quarter, and thankfully for Western, 58-yard touchdown return on a punt. And Steve McShane was the Missouri Valley Football Conference Special Teams Player of the Week. So excellence all around, on and off the field for Western.
And you talk about Steve McShane. Without that punt return, the game could have gone completely other way. That completely shifted direction of the momentum.
Absolutely. And then after that, he started playing better too. He picked up, I believe, a passing touchdown after that as well, not even 2 minutes after the punt return.
Yeah, and that sealed the deal. But Western will have their hands full this week as they play Youngstown State, and they go off against a legendary program.
You talk about a legendary program. How about some legendary heads here at the head coach of Nebraska, Bo Pelini, was also the head coach at Nebraska, and a very winning one at that. And now all of a sudden he's at Youngstown State. He's 24-17 here in 4 years as the head coach, 91-44 all time. And you talk about he's Mr. September as well. He's got a great road winning percentages. So I mean, this is a legendary guy. And now also the president of the university was also a head coach at Ohio State for a while, as well as at Youngstown State. Second winningest coach in program history at Youngstown State, not at Ohio State. And then number one in winning percentage as well. So this is a guy that can allocate a lot of resources to a very good football team in Youngstown State. So they know how to get it done.
Yeah, Jim Tressel, now president. How about that transition from head coach at Youngstown State, head coach at Ohio State, and now he's president of a university.
Also in the middle of that transition, he was at the Indianapolis Colts. So
yeah, I mean, talk about legendary program, and they got history on their side. Obviously, dynasty in the 90s. But give me some strengths and weaknesses of this Youngstown State team we'll see today.
Well, starting with their pros, like they're good here. Defensive front for Youngstown State is unbelievable. They can make havoc in any backfield. They know how to get to the quarterback. A whole bunch of sacks on this team, and they're going to be a menace. And do you want to go with a pro here?
Yes. For me, they're 18-3 in home openers. So away, they're 7-3. So they have a 70% chance to win here today. So I think that's something that we should definitely be on the lookout for, because even though they're away, they still have a chance to win, especially with the coaches. They have a lot of experience.
Yeah, my strength of this Youngstown State team is their run game. They like to run and pound the ball in there, and if you can stop that run, Western Illinois should walk away with the victory.
I agree.
Yeah, now let's get negative, shall we? All right, and to counter their run game, their passing offense has not been very productive, averaging just under 200 yards through the air per game. They're going to struggle here today. They've got plenty of people to throw it to. They've thrown to 12 receivers all year. They just cannot get the yardage through the air.
For me, a negative is that they're not a good fourth quarter team. So in the last 3 games that they've played, they've only scored 7 points. So like we saw last week, Western was able to win in the fourth quarter. So if Youngstown State can't pick it up, then they might lose.
Yeah, I'm with you. And you're going against one of the biggest comebacks in Western
Yes,
Illinois history
they
last
are.
week in the fourth quarter. But my con for this Youngstown State Penguins is that their whole defense, like you said, you picked up it earlier, their pass defense, but their defense in a whole really needs to step up today. They've been shaky all year long, but they need a strong performance to them to kind of spoil this Western Illinois homecoming.
Yeah, and talking about their defense, their passing defense has allowed about 800 yards through the air in 3 games. Just a heads up there.
Yeah, and we got great program leader in passing yards with Sean McGuire at the helm. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Mackenzie has the homecoming king and queen from homecoming weekend. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to the WIU football pregame show. I'm your host, Brendan Reed, alongside my partners, Tommy Cook and Mackenzie Yearby. One of our favorite segments where we get to interact with our audience through social media. Our first question that we're going to take is from WLC Big Red 10 on Twitter. Do you think the bye week will affect the Leatherneck offense today?
I think it will, positively. It's going to be a good thing. This is a banged-up offense that still produced very well last week. Now that they've had time to rest, bring some people back in, get them healthy, that's going to be a great thing.
I also think they were able to analyze the defense more. So you have an extra week to really look at film. So hopefully they'll be able to break down the defense and score.
Yeah, I'm with you guys both. Hopefully they can keep the momentum rolling with Brunner and Tate from last week. But you get some key cogs in the lineup back in this week. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Our second question is from Austin Matthews from Facebook. Should we be worried about the Penguins roster?
You should be worried about a lot, Mr. Austin Matthews. Mainly, talk about the defensive front earlier. Sharif Bynum, and Malik Richardson have combined for 4 sacks and 20 tackles on the season, and those are your edge guys. So those are the guys to be worried about on defense, at least.
Offensively, they definitely need to look out for Tevin McCaster. He is a running back, and he averages 126 yards per game. So that's deadly. Yeah. And then also, as a receiver, Zach Farrar, he averages 15.7 yards.
And our last question from John Siegel. What is the winning formula for WIU to get back to 500?
The winning formula has 3 parts right here. They need to mix it up on offense. Maybe throw in the running game's probably not going to work today. Find a way to get some check down passes, some screen passes. Force the pass on defense. This is not a good passing offense for the Penguins. Clean up penalties. Both of these teams averaging high amounts of laundry in both of their games, with Youngstown averaging about 12 a game, I do believe. So that's going to be bad. The real key to Western winning the game today is going to be the white helmets. They're going to get it done with the white helmets. That's the real winner right there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Obviously, you were talking about that, but I just want them to be relaxed, and that will be the key for the victory today. If they just play loose and keep the ball safe and don't turn the ball over.
There you go.
Yeah.
Back with much more and a special guest for our Missouri Valley Game Picks coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Joining us now, we got a special guest, head women's basketball coach JD Gravina. How are you doing today, JD?
I'm really good. Thanks for not putting special in quotes.
Yeah, and we have a new segment, Missouri Valley Game Picks. The first game we want to talk about is SIU versus South Dakota. For me, the key to this game is going to be South Dakota just needs to take care of the football, and they should squeak out a win against SIU. My guess is 27-21 in favor of the Coyotes.
Now, I don't know if this is going to be a popular pick, but I'm going to go with South Dakota as well, and basically on coaching staff. So as you know, Coach Bob Nielsen left here, good friend of mine still, and always a little bitter when he leaves. We got a good one with Jared, but I think he's going to coach him home at SIU.
I think the key to this is that South Dakota has been in every single game. Whether the fact that they're 1-2 is irrelevant, they've been in every single game this year. So I'm going to go with South Dakota as well.
I'm going to go with South Dakota as well. They do have an All-American defensive player on their team, and he averages 3 sacks so far in 3 games. So I think if he's on fire, they're going to do good.
Yeah, South Dakota State's across the board. Go Yotes for today, I guess. And our next matchup we have on our list is Missouri State versus Illinois State. And I got to go with the high-powered offense of Missouri State, despite Illinois State being undefeated. Might be an unpopular pick in the state of Illinois, but it looks like Missouri State should get the dub.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm going with Illinois State by 2 touchdowns. Missouri State, great basketball school, not as good football school.
Missouri are 7-point underdogs here. I think this is going to be a tight game. ISU, in Missouri's credit here, has had a cupcake season. They've played nobodies all year, but I'm still going to go with ISU nonetheless.
I'm going to go with Illinois State as well. They're 9th in scoring in the FSC ranks, so I'm going to go with them.